Kelly to begin with, just so you guys understand where I'm coming from as far as the reservation section. I had a modeling history since I was about 8 years old, and like talking about yourself a lot and having to be your own marketer and deal with a lot of rejection in that career and introducing yourselves to different industries got me into this side of it because of the business standpoint and how to represent yourself and how to market yourself. So a lot of that just ties into reservations as far as numbers goes and social media and just representation all around. When I met Kelly, he was going to be my part-time and modeling was going to be my full-time, but he had ulterior motives, and he, as he always does with everybody, he always says, I want you full-time. Like, he doesn't want to be the side boyfriend. He wants you all day, all the time. And not in that realm. But, but in a, like, for example. So after about 30 days and after my first caper with them, I asked for full-time, which at the time was just 1 day difference, so an additional 8 hours was my commitment, and it's been great ever since. And for about 1.5 years, I've just learned just new procedures. I learned now how to do public speaking, education on top of that, and everything just helps me grow every single day. So I like that personally, and it helps me achieve my goals, which are eat, live, and do things that make you happy, buy the shoes that you want, drive the car that you want, and eat the food you want to eat, a lot of things like that, because money is one of my main, I guess, motives, but it's not the only thing I'm focusing on. So when I genuinely put my heart into my job, the money will come. If I don't work for money, it doesn't seem like I'm not making it. It just seems like it's just going to come every 2 weeks, like it will. And I'm just, I love what I do, and I love my team. So, and it actually helps because we get tips too. So the front desk through our salon gets a tip out system from the stylist. So if we love them, they'll love us, and it's a mutual respect in that realm. And Bobby and I actually met. It was my audition day. I walked into the salon and he was there, and I was like, oh gosh. So he kind of taught me a lot about what I do today, so it's great to have him with me.
And then for my brief history, I've always been business-minded. It was just kind of the realm that I was into in high school, and then going to school for my undergraduate. I ended up studying business, but I got my bachelor's degree in communication. But I always had to focus on business because I just felt like that's where I was going to go. But while I was putting myself through school, I was also working full-time. It first started off at a spa, and I was doing that. Started off at the front desk of the spa, then worked my way up to management, and I was working directly with the owner. So it was one lady who owned her own spa, and it was her goal to open up another location, and I helped her with that part. We opened up a second location, still in San Diego, that's where I'm from, and we opened up in the W Hotel, and it was the first spa in the W Hotel that wasn't owned by the W Hotel. So it was a cool venture for me. It was a great experience. After that, I started working at Robert Cromian Salon in San Diego. Again, started at the bottom, worked as reservationist, part-time, worked my way up to full-time. Within 6 months, I was an assistant salon director for the downtown location. It was one of 5 locations that he has in the US. And from there, after I worked as an assistant salon director, then I transferred to another location, which was still in San Diego. It was like the junior salon, but I was the salon director there. So I always had that vision. I fell in love with Paul Mitchell, working with Robert. I was able to travel to a bunch of shows, operate their business side and their operations side while they did the hair. And I've always enjoyed watching people do hair. I love playing with my hair. It's a wreck right now, don't look at it. But I've always had that sense, and I fell in love with the Paul Mitchell culture, and working with him, I was able to work with, kind of like train myself in what I want to do and create my own career path rather than just being at the front desk. I wanted to expand that role, and I was able to do that. And after 3 years with them, I moved here to Chicago because I love the city. And then I always knew Kelly through Robert Cromian Salon, and 6 months after he opened this location is when I moved to Chicago, and there wasn't a job for me right away, like Kelly told you in the intro yesterday. But I still wanted to work here, so he created a position for me, and then it grew into, again, I started at the bottom, and then worked my way up, and then now I'm salon director, partnered with Diana and Nicole. So that's my kind of history, and like I said, I love the industry, I love what you guys do. I don't have a passion to do hair. I've never been in school for hair. I won't say never, I don't think I'll ever go to school for hair. But I always want to be in the salon, and my goal along with in the position that we're at, we want to open up multiple locations, and eventually I want to be operations director of multiple locations, and so that's my ultimate goal. So today what we're going to do is kind of give you what we see on our end of the salon. We all work as a team, but we have a different hat on our head. And so we see things a little bit differently. We don't necessarily have the creative mind that most stylists have in that regard, so we look at your business in a different way. And so we're going to kind of share that a little bit with you. If you have any questions, let us know. Somebody's calling in to be involved in our... No, I'm kidding. So there's going to be 4 things that we're going to kind of go over, and you guys can write them down, and then we'll just go through them throughout the presentation. The first thing is service. And you can look at these as like 4 different ingredients that make... If you have it, if you don't have it, that's so cool. Service. The second one is take home. The third area is pre-booking. And the fourth area is gratuity. So we're going to go, these are 4 ingredients that we feel like will help you be a successful stylist. Alright. So going into service, usually when you think of service, you think of what actual services you guys offer in terms of haircutting. I do coloring, I do perms, relaxers, those type of things. But you also want to look at other things in terms of service, and those are the other things that you're going to look at. Suggesting and selling take-home to your guests is a service that you offer. Because if you don't, that's just going to, that adds to their experience, if that makes sense. And then pre-booking them, and we'll explain why these are important. Pre-booking is another service that you offer in addition to haircutting and coloring, because it's going to set you up for success, and then it's just going to build your books in that regard. You want to go into keep it positive? So basically when you meet with your guest, we're going to kind of, you want to start off with a consultation whenever you have a guest that comes in. And the reason why is because you might have your schedule and know that, okay, this guest is coming in for a haircut. So you're not necessarily going to want to take them straight into the wash house and start shampooing them. You want to sit down in front of the mirror, kind of talk to them and give them an opportunity to tell you, how can I make you happy? That's how we start the consultation. We ask the guests how we can make them happy. And then at that point, it's kind of your role just to not talk anymore, just kind of keep your mouth quiet. Let the guests kind of tell you what challenges they might be having with their hair. Not very often are you going to have a guest that comes in and says, I love my hair, it's completely perfect, I don't need anything, because obviously they're here to see you for a reason. You might have a guest that says that, but they're there for a reason, and so you just give them the opportunity to talk and tell you, I'm having a challenge with this area, that area. The more you let them talk, the more you're going to soak in, and anything that they list, any challenges or problems that they're having with their hair, in your head, you're going to take a mental note and answer the question in your head, how am I going to solve this problem? They gave me 4 problems, what am I going to do to solve these problems for this guest and make them happy? Whether it's adding color to their haircut, so you can upgrade services, so that's going to put more money on that service ticket. If they have dry and damaged hair, you might want to suggest a conditioning treatment. Let's say they're booked for color, but not a haircut, but you feel like they need a haircut and you want to reshape it. So that consultation is giving you the opportunity to hear them out and satisfy that guest, and in turn, that's going to result in a little bit more money in your pocket. The guest will be happier, and you don't have that missed opportunity. And I like saying missed opportunity because if you don't ask them the question and don't give them the chance to speak, you're missing out on the opportunity of servicing this guest better, making more money.
Which is, it always leaves room to help them out, just because if you take notes, then you'll know their history. People might come in with the box color, we had a challenge with that earlier. They might have something coming up, like an event, or they might just always like having their regrowth touch-up every 3 weeks. You're going to want to know your guests as best as possible, so everything that they say, even if you're not available to write it down right away, as soon as you can, if you can jot it down on your phone, or you can tell an assistant, or if wherever you end up has a front desk, just utilize them. Let them know how your guest likes their coffee. Let them know how your guest was feeling that day, and if they have anything coming up, so that on their next visit, you may not have remembered in 6 weeks that they were making a trip, but if you look in the notes in their profiles, or maybe in your book or address book or whatever you have, and you look back at that guest 6 weeks ago, she was going to Bali and she came back and you're wondering why she's got a sunburn, you're going to be able to say, how was Bali? And the sunburn might give it away, or just for example, anything like that. They're going to feel like you genuinely care. And that's what matters most, is if so you're not treating your guests like just a wallet with legs, and you actually care about their future and you're keeping them in mind, they're going to feel that from you, and then they're going to have trust in you, which is going to make you feel a little bit more confident about how you're going to do the service with them. And that just build a relationship with them. If you build a relationship with the person who's in your chair, they've got relatives, they've got friends, they've got boyfriends, they've got moms. Everybody's got somebody to share the story with. And so that way you can just say, hey, it's been great to meet you, it's my first time. Or maybe you did take somebody else's guests in the same day, because that'll happen too. What if, you're so busy and you're unavailable, or your friend was so busy that the guest had to come to you? Again, you have to sit them down in front of a mirror, start a whole new consultation, and gain their trust and build a new relationship with them that'll hopefully just last very long and over a course of a period of time.
And with that relationship that you're constantly building on, you're not just going to have one consultation when you first meet that guest. Every single time a guest comes into our salon, we do a consultation, so you don't have those missed opportunities. You can upgrade. You can have that higher ticket for that guest. And we know that in our profession, if this week you want to make $100 and you want your paycheck to be $100, you know what you need to do to get $100. If next week you're like, you know what, I want to work harder and I want to make $500, you guys can do that as hairdressers. You can't do that with other professions. So if you want to make more money, you can do that. But again, like Mark was saying, that consultation is so important with every single guest, every time they come in. Don't ever just walk straight to the wash house, or don't ever assume something because you want to be able to satisfy that guest, build a great relationship, and build that trust with them. And then obviously it's going to result in a little bit of more money to your income.
Yeah, part of your service is being available. Not saying that you have other things going on, and just setting your priorities straight. So, when you guys were in Salon Reality, you heard that you guys, we don't have cell phones out here. We don't ever sit when we're at work. We're not on our phones. We're not talking to the team so much with each other. We expand. We get out of our comfort zone. And so you guys are going to have people that you meet that when you ask them the question, or if you do ask them, what can I do to make you happy today, they may make you feel a little bit uncomfortable because of their high maintenance, or they're particular, or they just start off very strong and judgmental to you. You know what I mean? But you're the professional. You guys should start off with like that clean slate of, I'm going to be quiet, I'm going to take everything you've got to say, and then I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to make sure I make you happy today. So whatever it is, part of your service will include, or part of your front desk will help you offer this, if you have it, is anything they want. So if they've got a birthday, you're doing hair for the birthday, you're doing hair for the birthday party, you're doing hair before the birthday, you're cleaning it up after the party, anything like that. That's just for example. But any event, whether it be a Top Shop hair salon, or a hair show, or a freelance, photo shoot, anything from avant-garde to Victoria's Secret, all these things are opportunities that you should be available for, so that your whole profession just builds. And everything coming from the littlest thing, like a magazine shoot that could be fully established, even if they're not paying, if you get involved, that's a service that you can provide to the next guest that you have. You can say, I did a magazine spread. They don't have to know if you got paid for it. And you shouldn't, when you first start, I wouldn't suggest that you would say, I'm only available for paid gigs. But somebody who's been doing hair for maybe 17 years, I think would say, I can charge a bit, I could take some compensation. But when you're starting off, you always just want to build that up and then share those stories with your guests. So when they ask you, I want dinner for two at, Callow's or some really nice place, you're going to think, wow, what an odd request. But as a hairdresser, or as somebody, who would like to do everything you can to make that guest happy, you can make it happen, and that's your client is just going to leave and be like, well, my hairdresser got me a dinner reservation, she got me tickets to a show, she knows somebody at Akira, got me a discount on shoes. Your connections are going to make your guests happy. Every connection you have, I would love for you guys to utilize, whether it's your boyfriend's friend or your, mom's friend. Do everything in your power to make a yes answer. I want it to happen. So we do the whatever, whenever mentality, and we never say no. If a guest asks for purple champagne with an orange wedge and they want it in like a pint glass, we have it. We won't say no, and we'll get it. No matter what it takes and however long it takes, we get it right away. And a lot of that just involves the team communication. So if you don't have somebody by your side or a front desk with you, and you obviously can't step away right away, maybe while they're processing, or maybe you can switch somebody on a shampoo bowl, anything you can do to try and get that going is very helpful for you.